Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. Green Bay Packers at the New York Giants. Packers are favored by 7.
Mm-hmm.
However, Jameis Winston is playing quarterback for the New York Giants. Jameis Winston as a 7-point underdog this weekend for the
Straight
Giants.
disrespect for Jameis.
The 5-3-1 Packers, good for third place in the NFC North right now.
Yeah.
And the 2-8 Giants. Over under 43.5 from our friends over at FanDuel.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Packers are one of the more confusing teams in the NFL as well. Again, they look when things go well, they look like they can match anybody, and yet there's just such long stretches of like malaise where it's not working on either side of the ball to some degree, but more on offense. And like you're like, when are they going to click into gear and really dominate? Now, injuries are a part of that. Tucker Kraft going down is a big loss for them. They're down a couple of wide receivers and lost even more during the Eagles game. But like, it does still feel consistently like this team should be better than they've been.
Yeah.
Like they're more than 40 points better in terms of point differential than the Bears, who have a better record.
Yeah, they're setting all sorts of records for their 3 losses being, only giving up 30 points or whatever it is. They've had some disappointing losses. They lost to the Browns, Panthers, and then last week's game against Philly. Now, Philly's good, but you lose a 10-7 game, you're going back saying a lot of what ifs. Jordan Love fumbling and just a lot of, inability to move the ball once you get into opponent's territory over these last few weeks. That's been a huge issue for the Packers. The Giants have some pretty spectacular fourth quarter collapse numbers where I think if that keeps up, the Packers, if this is just a close game, you got to sit there and wonder about what happens there once you get into the fourth quarter, the way the Giants have collapsed. However, you got 2 things at stake. 2 things here, Sam, when you're picking this game. How do you combine these 2 variables? You have Jameis Winston starting, and you have the interim head coach bump in Mike Kafka. With the Giants. I mean, the Giants should probably be favored by a touchdown in this game because of that, right?
Sure. I mean, Kafka is going to be an interesting thing to kind of monitor down the stretch. Like he's somebody that has been talked up for years as one of these sort of future head coaches in waiting type of guys. Someone that his name has always been a kind of buzz name throughout the NFL as someone who has a future. I don't really understand why you would fire Brian Daboll mid-season, but one reason might be let's see what Kafka does at the helm for half a year in charge.
Yeah. Normally, I think that's overrated. You know that. I say that a lot.
And I don't know that's a good idea, but it could be a thing.
But I wonder if it does make sense in Kafka's case. Because if the goal is not, there's only so many offensive gurus, but if you're offensive-minded head coach where you're hired essentially for your play calling acumen, we do get to get a few weeks of seeing you leading the squad and doing some game management. Like it feels more like, an interview situation than maybe some others. Or I would treat it more as an interview situation than I would some others.
And I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because you might, the record of those guys is not great. You tend to get trapped, I think, into sometimes, we've got to give the guy the job now, and he might not actually be the guy. But it is an interesting thing to keep an eye on because his name has been in those sort of circles for so long, and the Giants made this move mid-season. Maybe they are looking at it like an audition for Kafka.
I'll give you some of those numbers on the Giants and their second half collapses, 33rd team research team. Everything in the first half is pretty much middle of the pack for the Giants defense.
Okay.
Until second half, 3rd most yards per play, 3rd highest EPA per play, 4th highest success rate allowed, is all allowed on defense. 2nd highest explosive play rate, first down rate, first highest, the most.
Yes.
It's all awful.
Yeah.
So Shane Bowen's defense has had some second half struggles. The opposite of what we used to always say about, Lou Anarumo, who would always make the second half adjustments. The Giants doing the opposite so far this season.
I'm kind of bummed that we're not seeing Jackson Dart, not because, any Jameis game isn't fun, but because we don't get an answer immediately for what will this look like. Like, was Brian Daboll just, sacrificing Jackson Dart's health at the altar of keeping his job alive, or do they collectively, as a team, as a franchise, believe that it's necessary for Jackson Dart to be a huge part of this design run game in order to get the best out of him? Like, would firing Dayball immediately have gone, well, he's not going to run. Like, immediately, all design runs are off the table under Kafka. Jackson Dart's health is paramount. Brian Dayball was putting him at risk unnecessarily, and now it's all pivoting. We don't get an answer for that for at least a week, and instead we just get to watch Jameis, beat Jameis.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get there. So we'll see that in a couple weeks. I think Packers, it's an opportunity for them to get back on track on offense. Losing Tucker Kraft absolutely hurt. We'll see if they can get Matthew Golden back. He's been out of the lineup. They've had tons of injuries.
Lost Elton Jenkins on the offensive line.
Yeah, a lot of injuries on the offensive side for Green Bay. But again, this is where you lean on Jordan Love's got to make some big-time plays. There was definitely points in their season where it felt like they were volatile. Like even the Pittsburgh game, there's a bunch of big throws down the field from Jordan Love. And if you just miss on a couple of those and you don't have the down-to-down consistency on offense, you might have a game where you only score 7 like they did the other day. So that's what they got to figure out is some of the down-to-down consistency. Maybe more Josh Jacobs in the run game, but Green Bay's offense has been the issue in pretty much all of those losses. The defense let them down. I think that one game against Dallas, but overall they've been outstanding. The Micah Parsons addition, he's pretty good against the run too, despite what people say. So the defense has been good, keeping them in games, and they got to figure out a way to be a little bit better on offense.
Yeah, they really do. Josh Jacobs has been good. They have the playmakers there to be more productive than they've been.
Yes. All right, man. Green Bay by 7 in New York. New Jersey.
I'm going with Green Bay somehow to win and cover this on the road.
I mean, I got to stay true to
Apparently.
Jameis is in. I don't know what Jameis is going to do.
You're still waiting for his MVP season.
Yes. Jameis and an interim head coach, vibes through the roof.
Vibes.
For the Giants. I'll take the Giants. Harry's going to take Green Bay. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.